Hello, my friends. This is Katy, CEO of Purist Consulting, and welcome to another episode of the Katy G podcast. The mission of my podcast is for us to realize that we're great. We can be even greater, and most importantly, how can we bring this greatness to the world through a brand, our brand? So why do I do the Katy G podcast, and why do I believe in this mission? Two big reasons. First, I truly care about humanity deeply, and I want us all to see how great we really are, to be happier, because we deserve that. And two, because I am just like you. I struggle with my own feelings of being less than. And some days are good, some days are ugly because I'm human. And even though I teach this stuff, I still have the same issues. So this time, I want to focus the podcast on your emotional resonance. Truly what I was talking about in my first reason for doing these podcasts, because we really are great and we deserve to be happier. So what does that have to do with emotional resonance, my friend? Here's the deal. In marketing, the products industry has figured out for years now, this is not anything new, that the only way to sell something is through appealing to our emotions, to our values, to our guts, through any reason why we choose to buy something. And that's really not from a left brain linear perspective. We don't buy based on logic. We buy based on our values and impulses, and that's right brained. And that comes from a process where we go through our emotional response to buy. So if you're not a marketer or a psychologist, or this stuff is kind of wacky to you, I'm good with that. That's my goal here. As professionals, we should truly understand this so we can apply it to whatever results you want to have in your life. Mainly, really, just to be happier on your own. So if that's the slant in the marketing world, what one emotion sells anything? Most of us are taught that it's got to be pain, right? Because traditional marketing says, find where people are in pain and you keep pushing that button until they're down on their knees, and then they have to buy from you because you're their savior and you're their solution. Does that work? Of course that works. Is that what I'm talking about with the emotional resonance? Absolutely not. I'm talking about the fact the one emotion that truly sells is happiness. So Coke and Pepsi and Starbucks and Zappos, they have all figured this out, the great brands. How do we know this? Well, Zappos doesn't deliver shoes. Zappos delivers happiness. Tony Hsieh has figured out how to incorporate this into the culture, into the lifeline of his business, and it thrives. Pepsi and Coke. Coke doesn't sell a product, a carbonated beverage. Coke sells happiness. That's their tagline. Disney is not just a recreation park. Disney is what? Their tagline is the happiest place on earth. So the products industry has figured this out. They know how to take an inanimate object and make it truly powerful for us. So why is it that professionals and the rest of us humans just walking this earth don't want to do that for ourselves? We live in pain around it. I'm here to tell you that your emotional value is critical. How happy you are sells you all the time. So there is that direct inverse correlation that my research shows. We've talked about it before, but let me recap it for you. As stress goes up, your self-confidence has got to proportionally drop, even if you're super self-confident. When that happens, though, you're not emotionally resonating with your audience anymore, which means they're not buying anything you're selling them because they're not buying you. They're not your biggest fan. They're not open to your power and your influence. What are you going to have to do about this? Well, you're going to have to emotionally resonate better, first for yourself and then for them. What does that mean? That means you've got to figure out a way to be happier. I know that sounds Pollyanna, and I've said it once, I'll say it again. I'm super pragmatic. I'm a businesswoman, but I did hear Pollyanna died a happy gal, so why not be Pollyanna about this if it works? So what does that mean for you? It means really I want you to stop and consider, where can you be one level happier than the person you are sitting in front of who you're trying to influence and perhaps exert power over with your brand. Maybe you're trying to get a date. Maybe you're sitting there in a meeting and trying to convert them. Maybe culture isn't what it should be in an organization. There's been mergers and acquisitions, or there's been another transformation in the organization. Somebody's been hired, somebody's been fired. There's been a technology change. All of these mean that you need to find your center and your emotional resonance in order to get the results you want, to be happier in your life. And it kind of goes full circle. Then you have to figure out how you're happier. And by that, I do not mean you have to be goofy or a cheerleader or a clown. I just mean you have to figure out how to be 1 degree happier than the person you're sitting in front of or trying to convince or convert into your biggest fan. How do you do this? Well, it's a perhaps long process. It could be, but it takes a lot of steps. And in these podcasts, my aim is to get you to think about it, and then we apply it later. And how you can apply it later is really through $29 for our emotional resonance mini course. There I set you up with 4 monthly videos and handouts and exercises where you get to actually practice developing your own emotional resonance factor around happiness and how to bring it to your audience. It's a great start, and it's $29 and it's online. You get to do it all on your own, and it gives you a really good, intentional, grounded place to spring from. And you get to do it on your own time and your own terms, and it's individualized just for you. So I hope this podcast was helpful. I hope you got value out of it. If you did, please share it with others. If you want to sign up for the Emotional Resonance Factor mini course, it's on the front page of my website for $29. And if you have any questions about this content, please shoot me an email. And until next time, Katy G out.